Credit card sales at gun stores would be flagged under new code. That's the headline that floated off the press of the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO, yesterday. In plain English, the ISO has decided to create a new merchant category code for gun stores, a move that could change the way banks and credit card companies treat purchases of firearms and ammunition. The story began with a group that sets standards for business transactions. While the ISO usually works quietly behind the scenes, a letter received by Amalgamated Bank this Friday confirms that the vote is in place. The approval means that every time a customer pays for a gun with a card, the transaction will carry a unique code, something that was never in place before. Why does this matter? In the past, a credit card statement would simply list a merchant number. Gun shops had no specific identifier, so it was difficult for banks to see that a purchase was for a weapon. That's the crux of the issue. Law enforcement officials who track gun crimes rely on data from banks, but until now, they were essentially looking for a needle in a haystack. Politically, the new code is already a powder keg. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, one of the most vocal advocates for gun control reforms, said the approval was an important step towards improving coordination with law enforcement and preventing gun violence. She went on to urge every financial institution to adopt the new standard. Letitia James, New York's Attorney General, echoed the sentiment, calling the decision a big victory. She added a call to action, urging credit card companies to flag any suspicious transactions on gun and ammunition sales, just as they do for fraud and money laundering. The push for a distinct code stems from a series of investigations that in 2018 highlighted how many of the deadliest mass shootings in America were financed with credit card purchases that were never flagged by banks. Check your statement. You would have seen a merchant like a sporting goods store grouped in the same basket as a fishing tackle shop. No special signal meant no special scrutiny. The new merchant category code falls in line with a law passed after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. The law requires banks to flag suspicious transactions intrinsically tied to domestic terrorism. However, banks barely knew whether an item on a card was a pistol, a rifle, or a fishing rod. The new code should change that. Backstage, the reaction has been mixed. Visa and MasterCard have openly opposed adding the code, citing concerns about the administrative burden on merchants and potential discrimination concerns. Yet lobbying groups on both sides have been at table behind the scenes, some co-working with the ISO, seeking a balance between regulatory compliance and small business interests. Bank officials will now have to figure out the mechanics, how to integrate the new code into their transaction processing systems, how to train staff, how to disclose the change to customers, and how to handle potential backcalls on existing merchants. In short, the ISO's decision creates a technical solution that could give law enforcement officials a new, concrete way to track patterns of gun purchases over time. It could uncover whether a buyer is repeatedly purchasing firearms or ammunition, a data point that was previously invisible in the financial data stream. The political ripple will not stop there. The new code may become a focal point for the already heated debate between gun rights advocates and gun control supporters, especially in a state like New York where several major banks and card issuer retailers are headquartered. If you want to keep up with how surfaced banks, credit card networks, and law enforcement agencies respond, stay tuned to this channel. We'll be following what the new code means for ordinary consumers and how it could either protect communities or create regulatory friction across the industry. That's all from me for now. Thanks for listening, and we'll continue the conversation as this story develops.